guys, it's Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. How fun is that to say? So first off, I just want to thank everyone so much for all your positive feedback on the first video. It's been really fun, and yeah, I'm just so excited to be able to share my love and passion for makeup. So I hope you guys enjoy this video as much. So for my second video today, guys, I am so excited for this. I wanted to test out these products for ages, finally been able to get my hands on one of them. So basically today is going to be a bit of a battle of the primers. It's the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer versus the E.L.F Poreless Putty Primer. Don't know if any of you have heard of either of these. This Tatcha Primer is high-end luxury, very expensive, and the E.L.F, obviously I mentioned E.L.F in my first video, they're drugstore, very affordable. Lots of new products up and coming. So yeah, apparently this is supposed to be a dupe for this, which is super interesting because this retails for roughly £42. You can't get it in the UK, so I paid $52 for it, which converts to about £42 at the moment, and this is £8, so huge price difference. So do you think this is going to stand up to this? Watch and find out. So before I started this video, I've already cleansed and moisturised my skin, so we're ready to go in with primer. So I'm going to start with the Tatcha Primer. So this box is a little bashed because I took it all the way back from Hawaii. So yeah, I have used this a couple of times already, and I must say, like, I love this primer. And as I said in my first video, I'm not really one for primer all the time because I find that there's not a lot that actually work. This one works. And I don't know whether to be happy about it or not because it is so expensive. So I'm not sure it's something I could keep up with all the time. So I'm going to show you how it opens because you just feel luxury using this, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, okay, first off, we open it up. It has this little tab, and then you just pull to reveal this beautiful product. So yeah, we take it out. It's in its own little box here. Then the actual disc, which is obviously so beautiful. It's really weighty, that is. And it also comes with, this is my favourite bit about it. So because it's kind of like a putty and it's flat, it comes with a little scraper with the Tatcha logo on it, which you use to scrape out the product. So not only that, colour coordinated matches products, it has on it this little line which shows you where to scrape up to, and that's enough product for your entire face. So I might not scrape all the way up to the line because obviously I'm just going to do Tatcha on half of my face. So open it up. So it does, obviously I have used it a few times, so it doesn't look perfect and pristine. But basically, we use this, first up, have to comment on the smell. When I first got this, I thought, oh, that's quite perfumey. However, I like it. It smells expensive. It just smells like nice skincare, if that makes any sense. So yeah, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take this little scraper. We just scrape it along. So I have gone almost all the way up to the line, but that should be enough for half my face. So I'm going to do Tatcha on the right hand side and E.L.F on the left. So just take it onto my fingers, rub it in. Yeah, it feels really nice. I like it because it's not like a lot of primers just feel so slippery and like your makeup's just going to slide right off. But okay. So that's that primer all worked in. Put it down my neck as well. So straight off, we're going to get nice and close. Oh, I still got a little bit there. And have a little look. So if you can see, this area of my face is quite large pores. So I think that straight away looks like the pores are kind of smaller compared to that side where there's no primer. So you can see quite kind of holy there, a lot of pores there. The skin instantly looks kind of smoother, and it does have a kind of radiance to it. I think you can definitely notice the difference between these two sides. Okay, so now it's time for the E.L.F. So this obviously packaging is a lot more basic, but that's fine because we're more concerned about the product inside. And obviously in terms of like drugstore products, this is quite standard. So I'm going to open her up. I can get it open. Okay. So yeah, just your standard. Actually wonder how much product is in each. The E.L.F one has 21 grams and the Tatcha has 20 grams, so pretty much the same amount. Okay, so we shall open this up. Get it open. E.L.F one would not recommend, can't get it open. Just bear with me, I'm gonna have to go get something to open this. So I am back and I managed to get it open. Yay! That would not have been a very good review if I couldn't even get the product open. So yeah, here we have the E.L.F poreless putty primer. It actually looks very sort of similar to the Tatcha one. The Tatcha one has a very slight pink sort of colour. This is called the shade Universal Sheer. So, seeing as we don't have a scraper with this, I'm just going to use the Tatcha scraper with it anyway because we'll save my fingernails. So we shall see. Okay, so the way it comes out, it actually seems very similar to the Tatcha one straight off. You can see it kind of leaves a dip. I went up to the line again, so we're using the same amount. Oh, it feels very similar in texture, although maybe not as smooth, not quite as smooth, a little bit more bitty. Oh. Okay. So this, I think, feels less kind of silky and slightly creamier. A slight kind of, yeah, I felt like when I'm rubbing the Tatcha in, it dries in sort of quicker than this one. This is like piling a bit. So, first thoughts, this definitely looks kind of like shinier than the Tatcha side, but it's quite annoying that it is. I feel like the product's piling up a bit. I don't know if that's because I just had a little bit on my hand anyway, but I feel these pores actually do look quite filled in as well. They look quite nice. My skin definitely doesn't look as textured. This side is definitely more matte. I know that for sure. This side has a slight kind of oily sheen as such. So yeah, so far, so good. Next, I'm going to go in with foundation. So for the video today, I'm going to use the Illamasqua Skin Base Foundation, and it's in the shade 5.5. It's on the front. 5.5. And this possibly is a little bit dark because it's probably better when I've got a tan, but we'll just blend it all the way down. So, just pop a wee bit on the hand. Start with that. And I'm also just going to use my Illamasqua face brush for that. So I'm going in. I'll blend one half first and see how it looks. So I have blended my foundation on the right side where I put the Tatcha Primer. So we're just going to come in and have a closer look. So the biggest area where I have pores is my cheek right here, and obviously my nose as well. So on here, I mean, I think my skin looks pretty smooth. The pores are well filled in. You can't see any kind of holes in my makeup. So now I'm just going to do the same on the E.L.F side, using the same brushes and everything to keep it all fair. So I have now fully blended my foundation on the left side, which is where I put the E.L.F primer. So I'm going to come in a little closer and we can see what we think. So straight off, I think genuinely it looks really good. I will say I can see like a tiny bit more texture here. If you look, you can see some small pores there popping through. Also, I think on my forehead, it's kind of sunk into little lines a tiny bit more on that side than it has on that side. But nothing crazy. On my nose, I think both sides look quite the same, really. I don't really notice any textural differences there. But overall, overall, I don't think there's a huge difference. This side is slightly, maybe just slightly more dewy. But yeah, I think the only slight difference is that these pores look slightly more textured on the E.L.F side than they do on the Tatcha side. But nothing that I would complain about. It's just when I'm going close and really studying them, I think that definitely does look a little bit more pory than that side. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do my concealer, my powder and the rest of my base products, and we'll come back and give my final thoughts. Hey guys, so I'm back. I've done the rest of my makeup and I am ready to give my final thoughts on the primer. So I use the Tatcha one on this side and the E.L.F one on this side. Let's see if we can see any difference. Coming in closer. So overall, I think my pores and my skin looks quite smoothed out. What I will say is there definitely is a tiny bit more texture on this side compared to this side. Just look at that little cheek area. You can see a little bit more texture there compared to there, but very minimal. Nose, both sides looks quite good. The only obvious difference I would say between the two primers is on this side of my forehead, a couple of lines. Definitely feel like my makeup's sinking into it more than it is on this side. So have a look there. So that does sometimes happen with this foundation. However, there is a noticeable difference between that side and that side. You can see two lines are more pronounced on this side than they are here, which suggests to me that it is a difference in the primer. But overall, I genuinely think that both sides performed really well. As I said, I've already tried the Tatcha one before. I know that I love this primer, and so it was really just a test of the E.L.F one to see does it perform as well as the Tatcha one, because it is meant to be a dupe. However, with such a huge price difference, how could they do the same thing? So I'm actually really interested to see how these primers wear throughout the day, because obviously we know that this primer has kind of smoothed out my skin. It's done quite a good job of filling in my pores, but I want to see how it lasts throughout the day, because primer is also supposed to increase the longevity of your makeup. So what I think I'll do is I'm gonna go just now and I'm gonna do a little check-in in a wee while and see if there's any difference between how this side lasts and this side lasts. Oh, and one final step, how could I dare forget? Setting spray! Voila! So I'm gonna check in a few hours and see how this makeup is lasting. Hey guys! So I'm just checking in after my makeup has been on for 6 hours. So first thoughts, as you can tell, my face is very shiny. This is totally standard for me. I have very oily skin, so it always gets really shiny, and it's been so hard today because I've been trying to not touch it at all so I can give like a proper kind of review at the end of this and just see how it's lasted without me touching it up. So I have not touched my base at all. I have reapplied my lipstick a couple of times because I've been eating and drinking, but other than that, this is exactly as I left it. So we'll just come in closer and have a little look. So we have the Tatcha side here and the E.L.F side. So I'm going to come in nice and close so we can have a proper look. So first off, I think all my pores and everything on the Tatcha side still look nicely covered. There is a little bit of creasing just here, a couple of little lines where the makeup sort of creased there. And I do think this is really shiny, so around here and on my chin, very shiny. Then turning to the E.L.F side, again, my pores look quite well covered. I mean, they've pretty much stayed exactly as they were when I applied this makeup. It is sort of creasing a little more in my nose area there on this side than it is on this side. In general, yeah, the lines in my forehead though, those look really pretty much the same as when I applied my makeup. I do think this side is shiny, but now this is controversial. I think that the Tatcha side is actually shinier than the E.L.F side. So I know, we're trying to see if the E.L.F primer is as good as the Tatcha, but I'm just reporting on what I see here, and I see that I personally feel like this side of my face is definitely oilier than this side. Just gonna have another little look. And this side. So Let me know what you think in the comments below. So my final little review, after blotting my face, we're just going to have a little look and see how that's disrupted the makeup. So that line, that little crease is still visible. Some of the makeup has come off the end of my nose there. My pores are definitely looking more visible just here. You see, they're coming through a little bit more. But in general, I think this side looks quite nice, so we'll flip over. This part of my chin makeup has definitely come off a little more. Again, on my nose, this kind of makeup has come off a little bit, and these pores are slightly more visible, but actually this area on my cheek, I think it still looks really the same. And yeah, I think the rest of it looks much and such the same. I would say, like, on my chin area, I think it's taken off a little bit more of the foundation blotting on that side. To give my final thoughts and round up this video, does the E.L.F. £8 primer stand up to the Tatcha £42 primer? And I'm going to say it does. I think that the differences in each side of my face are so minimal that you would never notice. And for the £34 difference, I think that this stands up really well. And actually, I think that my face stayed slightly less shiny with the E.L.F. side, so that's a pro on that one. I do, however, I love this primer. I think it fills in my pores beautifully. It's also so luxury and I really enjoy using it. Like, I feel really bougie when I use it, so I definitely would say this is nice, and if you feel like treating yourself, get it. But for the everyday use, the E.L.F. one is fantastic and I would highly recommend. Okay, so before you all run along to Superdrug to buy the E.L.F. primer now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified when the next one goes up. That's it for today. Thanks, guys.